If you're new to my YouTube channel, please click that subscribe button and remember to click the bell icon to get notifications of all my uploads throughout the week. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So you may remember a while ago I did a fast forward version of decorating the front of my 6x9 Lapbook, and then following that, he says putting that out of the way, I showed you how I created the 5x8 Lapbook. So this has just got one of those inclusion pages and I've just taken the other three out just to make it easy to handle. So today what I thought I would do is I would decorate the front cover of this one, instead of doing it in fast forward, doing it in real time, and then I'll show you the other signature and inclusion sheets that I've created to go on the inside of those. And then on Saturday I'm going to stitch, yes you heard me right, I'm going to stitch those signature sheets into the journal to turn this into a Lapbook stroke junk journal stroke thing that you can use to actually write notes and that kind of stuff in. I know, me stitching on camera. Wonders will never cease. Anyway, so let me bring in my bits of ephemera that I've already sourced. Now, these bits, apart from Mr. Grace there, I've had kicking around in my collection for absolutely ages. He says knocking things over off camera. A big pile of embellishments that were made a couple of years ago. Using Stampin' Up stamps, Tim Holtz inks, alcohol inks and little mini tags and punches and little embellishments and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely ages and ages and ages ago, and they were just put in a drawer and forgotten about. And recently I came across them again. So I thought I would use some of these to decorate the front of my 5x8 journal. So I've pulled these to one side. So Mr. Grace can just wait over there for a minute. And I've got this main panel here, which I'm going to stick, let's just open that up that way, that I'm going to stick up there towards the top. So that looks like there's been a little bit of washi tape on there. I can't even remember how we actually created these, but I can recognise some of the bits and pieces and the resources in it. Like this was a stamp from Stampin' Up, and the postage stamp that's there was also a stamp, and then a punch, a Stampin' Up punch. I may even still have the stamp punch, the stamp shaped punch somewhere in my collection. And then obviously there's washi tape over the top, and then it's been distressed to within an inch of its life, and then it's washi tape, and then obviously it's got alcohol inks and that kind of stuff on there too. And then this piece looks like it's come from a notepad of some description. It's been ripped, stamped, and then again distressed. So that's going to go down towards there, right up against the end. So I'm just going to keep on putting Mr. Grace on there. I keep calling him Mr. Grace because that's his name. He's a famous British cricketer. Some say the greatest cricketer. Never understood cricket. Like golf, never understood golf either, but there you go. I don't have to. It's not compulsory to understand these things. Right, so I'm going to drop that one just there. So I'm just using him as a positioner. I'm just letting the glue sit for a few seconds, and then I can decide where else these are going to go. So I think I'll put that stamp, so I might put that stamp down there at the bottom there. Just down that there. And this one that's been done with glossy accents. So that's a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera. This is a punch, a Stampin' Up punch, a decorative label punch. done in card, that's been stuck over the top and then it's just been given a coat of glossy accents. So I'm going to stick that there. That's another one to a Lux Hotel, so that's one of those luggage sticker, suitcase sticker kind of things, just put onto a piece of punched card and then covered in glossy accents again to create quite a nice little embellishment. And then we have a little tag that I've just added some seam binding on, just a little bit of blue seam binding, and it's been distressed with inks, a little bit of alcohol ink, and then it's been stamped on with a Tim Holtz stamp. And I'm going to put that on with a foam pad to give it a little bit of dimension. So let's just start off with, actually, let's start sticking things down. Start with that at the top. I want to put that on a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to use up the back bit that you normally would throw away. These double-sided pads. And then just peel that back off. Waste not, want not. So that's the sheet that I've cut it from. As you can see, those are the pop dots that come out, and then rather than throw this waste sheet away, if you like, I'm going to use it on there. So we've got a little bit on that one, so I only need a small piece on there. Probably those two will do. There. And then on there. It's great when you can find use for stuff that you would normally throw away, or use up bits of your old stash that have been sitting there since Charles Darwin was a boy, and get new life out of them, or find some life for them. Alright, so we've got a little bit that we can just use there. That can stick in the middle. That's not quite in the middle, is it? Reposition that. That'll do. That one can go just there. Nice little travel theme. And then we have this one that I want to come in. That's just going to go over the top of Mr. Grace. There. Me likey. So we need to stick him down now. I'll just add some glue. And I've gone round and added kind of a dark ink just around the edges, just to hide those white cut edges. I did that quite a while ago. So he can get stuck down on there now. Just make sure he's in line with the bottom. It's always best to be in line with the bottom. And then we'll grab a couple or a little bit of that stuff from the back. Snip snip. And if that's too much, which it looks like it is going to be too much, we'll just take that off. Don't want that. And then that can go, I think, probably just about there. The journey is the destination. Let's just get that lined up so it's pretty straight, or as straight as I'm ever going to get it, being cack-handed and all. Okay, let's have a little bit of a tidy up. Mr. OCD's kicking in. Okay, so there's just a couple of bits missing now. I've got some little metal corners that I want to add on the end, just to give it a bit of durability. So I want to add a little bit of glossy accents just in there, just so that it's going to grip and hold, because the last thing you want is for them to fall off. So just put a tiny bit of glossy accents in, and then shove them in the corner, and then crimp down. And I'm just crimping down with my fingers, not with any pliers or anything, because they are fairly light and they just hold on. So there are two little holes that I could use brads on, but because I've used the glossy accents, I won't need to. So all I'm doing is just opening up a little bit, add a little bit of glossy accents just in that corner, and then I'll just slide it on, and then just clamp it down with my fingers. Like so. And then I'm going to do the back side, just so I've got one on each of the four corners. And if I decide to decorate the back later, then it's already going to be done. So just slide it on, turn it over, squish it down, and then do the same thing again. They really don't take long to dry. And then just push it down. And then we can leave them for a few minutes. So we've now got lovely metal corners, top and bottom, and we've now also got nice little metal corners, top and bottom there. Now, inclusion pages, signature sheets, while that's just drying. So I mentioned the last time about creating some insert and signature sheets. So these are the first set that I created, and I've printed these off just on standard photocopier paper or printer paper, so it's only that lightweight stuff, but I've done them double-sided. Let me just open one up so I can show you. I did both sides, then I trimmed it out and then folded it in half, and that creates the four different designs, creates a 16-page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you've got the same at the other side, a 16-page signature. When you combine that with the second set, this second set has notes to self, it has graph paper with blue and pink squares, it has that cursive handwriting practice paper, and it also has standard note paper with that red or pink line for the margin, and then the blue. That's that second set. So both of these two sets of inclusion signature papers are available on my website now. So all I've done is printed one set, and then when that came out of the printer, it came out that way, and all I did was take it out, flip it, drop it back in, and then reprint it again. So I had double-sided. There are crop and tick marks. When you've printed it out, you'll get a crop and tick mark in the corner so you know exactly where to cut. So, and I've done that 5 times. And I've just mixed up the pages in different orders. Sometimes I even printed them in reverse order so that you don't get the same thing on the front and back, just to give it a little bit of difference, a little bit of just a bit of randomness. So on Saturday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch all 5 of these inclusions. Now I can't decide whether to do it on this side or whether to do it on that side. I'll decide before Saturday. But as you can see, I've already got my inclusion pages. I've even mixed and matched some of them, look. So I've printed the first set with the second set. I've just mixed and matched them all up, so it's just complete total mishmash and mashup, just for a little bit of difference. So I've got some twine, excuse me, I've got my needles, so I'm all ready to stitch these signatures into the journal to turn this into a hybrid. But that is going to be on Saturday. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me put the front cover together. So we've now created the base, so you know how to create that basic structure. I've decorated the front cover, voila, and then on Saturday I'll show you how I'm going to stitch in these inclusion sheets actually into the book to turn it into a, I don't know, not necessarily a Midori style, but actually stitched in. But I'll explain the other ways. I've suddenly got very, very hoarse. Excuse me. Which means it's probably time for me to go and put the kettle on. Right. So there you go. Done. I'll see you all on Saturday. Bye for now. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, without whose generosity and support these videos would not be possible. Thank you.